Hello there, guys, and welcome to our next class for the third unit. This is Teacher Krishna, and this one is a class that is part of the high school, of course, 7th high school and BYS. Our subject is going to be science, and we are going to be working on week number 24 today. So welcome, and let's go over our presentation for today. Remember to have your notebook with you in order to make today's experiment. So today we're going to change a little bit the things. So you're not going to have a video exactly related to the lesson today, but you have to make an experiment in this first hour. So make sure to pay close attention to what you need to include today. So these are the parts that you need to include in your summary or experiment report, let's say. So of course, you need the dates, you need the end in mind, and then as a title, you can write down experiment, okay? So after you have written down those three parts, date, end in mind, and title, you can write down all of the parts that you need to follow whenever conducting an experiment. So number one, you need to write down your observation. So, of course, the observation is going to be related to earthquakes. I'm going to give you a little bit more information later on. But in what consequences have you seen from an earthquake happening? Then you need to write down your hypothesis. So your hypothesis will be related to the structure of the buildings. For example, if one building is a little bit more rectangular, or what happens to a building if it's way more triangular, so on and so forth. That's what you are going to see during the video. Then experimentation. So basically you need to follow the steps that are going to be shown in a video that I'm going to leave in the description. There is the link, so you can open this video and follow all of the steps that are shown in there. So you have to follow all of the steps and, of course, write a small report in your notebook about all of the things that you did and the structures that you created. Of course, analysis in what happened during your experimentation. So you need to analyze the data that you got from the experiment that you did previously. And lastly, you need to write down your conclusions. So after analyzing the data that you got from the experiment, and after using different shapes in the buildings that you were going through, so what are your conclusions about it? Okay, so that's what you need to specify today. Okay, and remember to have the end in mind in your notebook, and it is the following: explain how seismographs work and the data that they reveal. Right. And here I have a small summary of the activities, just to complement what I was mentioning before. So watch the video in the description and conduct the first experiment. So the video that I'm going to show you has a lot of experiments, but the experiment that I want you to do is the first experiment that is shown in there. Only experiment that is number one. Don't do the follow-up of them, right? Only the first one. And write down a scientific report in your notebook. How are you going to write a scientific report? Well, with the parts that were specified before. Remember, you need your observation related to earthquakes, you need your hypothesis, you need your experiment, you need analysis of data, and lastly, you have the conclusion. Something very important, in your experiment, it is very necessary that you include a picture of the experiment that you did at home. And of course, you have to add it up to your notebook. And something very important that I mentioned before, one more time. In your hypothesis or in the theory that you want to prove, you need to focus specifically on the different shapes of buildings. So one more time, there are buildings that are like a little bit more rectangular, and there are some others that are triangular. So what happens in those buildings during an earthquake? What happened to the rectangular buildings during the earthquake? And what happens to the triangular buildings during the earthquake? That's what you need to write down in your report. Next one, share your report and model during the live session. So you have 1 hour to finish with this report. So in this first hour, make sure to do it super quickly, because during the live session, you have to bring the model and you have to show it to me, the teacher, and of course to the rest of the class to see how you are doing. And of course, you need to share your observation, you need to share your hypothesis, the experiment, the analysis of data, and the conclusion. So make sure to work as fast as you can. And of course, do it properly as well. Not do it fast but well at the same time. And today we still need to cover one topic. So make a summary in your notebook about pages 118 to 123. These pages will be discussed during the mid-session. So the reason why we are not working right now on these pages is because you have to do the experiment. So right now, don't worry about the pages. We are going to work on them during the live session in Meet. So I'm going to give you an explanation about what is in there. And of course, you can write down the summary in your notebook during the live session. But don't focus on that right now. The most important thing before the session is the experiment itself. All right, and lastly, take pictures, compilate them in a single document, and upload it to Google Drive. So once you are done with your summary, and once you are done with your experiment and everything, take pictures of all the work you did, as well as the exercises from your book, and upload them to Google Drive. All right, there's where I'm going to be checking them out. So those are basically the activities for today. I really hope that you have a lot of fun when experimenting today and creating your report. So I'm very excited and I have great expectations from you. So do your best, and we're going to be discussing a little bit more about the experiment during the live session. It's great to see you all here. So I will be meeting you during the live session in a couple of minutes. So goodbye, guys, and always take care.